They burned my farm. They killed my animals. Not one, not two, all of them. They left them there like it meant nothing. And I didn't go after them. I didn't call anyone. I didn't scream. Because the moment I saw what they did, I understood something. This wasn't over, not even close. My name is Daniel Whitaker. Out here in rural Wyoming, people don't talk much, but they watch, and they know me. Not because I make noise, but because I don't. Every morning before sunrise, I'm already outside, boots in the dirt, hands working, eyes on the land. Same routine, every day. My land isn't the biggest, but it's steady. It's been here longer than me, and if I do things right, it'll still be here long after. That's how I was raised. No shortcuts, no rush, just work. My cattle weren't just animals. I raised them from birth, watched them grow. I knew the way they moved, the way they reacted. If one was missing, I felt it. If one was sick, I stayed up. You don't abandon what depends on you. People around here respect that, but they also know one thing about me. I don't sell my land. Not for money, not for pressure, not for anyone. The SUVs came one afternoon, 3 of them too clean for these roads. Men stepped out like they already owned the place. They talked about opportunity, development, money. They had plans, and right in the middle of those plans was my land. They made an offer, then another, each one bigger than the last. I listened the same way every time, and I gave them the same answer. I'm not selling. At first they smiled, then they insisted, then they changed. A neighbor saw trucks passing late at night. Another mentioned strange markers near my fence. Nothing official, but enough to understand. Pressure. I didn't react. I fixed what needed fixing, removed what didn't belong, and kept going. Same routine, same silence. Then that night came. I woke up without knowing why. No sound, just that feeling. I stepped outside. The air felt heavy. Then I smelled it. Smoke. By the time I saw the fire, it had already taken the barn. Flames rising fast, too fast. I ran toward the cattle, but the fence had been cut, clean, deliberate. Some had escaped into the dark, most didn't. When the fire died, everything went quiet, too quiet. I stood there, didn't shout, didn't move, just looking. And far down the road, headlights, leaving. I didn't chase them, I already knew. By morning, people came, questions, anger. You can't let this go. You need to fight back. This is war. They were waiting for something, a reaction. I gave them nothing. I spent the day digging, slowly, one place at a time. No machines, no help, just my hands. Some people watched, most didn't understand. They thought I was weak, they thought I was afraid, but I had already decided. That night, I sat on what was left of my land. No fire, no noise, just the ground, and I said it out loud. They think this is over. They don't understand what they touched. I'm not thinking about revenge. I'm thinking about time, about balance, because land like this doesn't forget. If this story speaks to you, take a moment to support us. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who believes in real stories. Your support is what keeps stories like this alive. Some people react immediately. Others wait, not because they're weak, but because they understand something deeper. Sometimes people create their own consequences. They just don't see it yet. They've started building now. Machines, noise, confidence. They think they've already won. But the ground they're standing on isn't as stable as they believe. And what's coming next? I don't need to force it. I don't need to chase it. I'll just stand here and watch.
I didn't go to their site the next day or the day after. I stayed where I've always been, on my land, what's left of it. The smell of smoke lingered for days. It got into everything, my clothes, the soil, even the air itself. But I didn't try to get rid of it. Some things aren't meant to be erased that quickly. People kept coming by. Some brought food, some brought words. Most of them didn't know what to say, so they said too much. I nodded, that's all. At night, when everything settled, I started walking the perimeter, step by step. Same path I've walked 1,000 times before, but now I was looking closer. Not at what was gone, at what was still there. The ground told a different story than the one they thought they wrote. Tracks, weight, pressure, signs most people wouldn't notice, but I've spent my whole life reading this land, and it was speaking. They'd been moving heavy equipment already, testing the soil, digging in places they shouldn't, rushing. That's the thing about people like them. They don't respect what they don't understand. A week later, the first problem hit them. I heard about it before I saw it. Word travels fast out here, even when nobody tries. One of their machines had sunk, not just stuck, swallowed halfway into the ground. No warning, no reason they could explain. They blamed the operator. They always do. But I knew that patch of land. I avoided it every season. Too soft underneath, especially after a dry spell followed by sudden weight. It looks solid until it isn't. They didn't know. Or maybe they didn't care. Didn't matter. 2 days later, another delay. Equipment failure this time. Brand new machinery. Just stopped. No clear issue. Then the water. They hit a pocket underground they weren't expecting. Flooded one of their trenches overnight. Slowed everything down. Each time they adjusted, threw more money at it, more men, more machines. Confidence doesn't disappear all at once. It erodes, slowly. I still didn't go near them, didn't need to. From where I stood, I could see enough, hear enough. They were starting to argue now, not openly, but you could feel it in the way they moved. Shorter conversations, sharper tones. Pressure, change in direction. One evening, just before sunset, I saw one of them walking toward my side of the fence. Not one of the suits. This one worked with his hands. He stopped a few feet away, looked at me like he wasn't sure if he should speak. "You knew, didn't you?" I didn't answer right away. He glanced back at the site, then at the ground beneath his boots. "This land, it's not right." I looked past him, toward the horizon. "It's exactly what it's always been," I said. He didn't reply, just stood there for a moment, then walked back. That was the first crack. After that, things didn't speed up anymore. They slowed. Inspections, rechecks, meetings that lasted longer than they should, because somewhere along the way, doubt had settled, and doubt spreads faster than fire. I kept my routine. Before sunrise, boots in the dirt, hands working, same as always. Because this was never about chasing them. It was about standing long enough for the truth to do what it always does, surface. By the third week, the noise had changed. It wasn't steady anymore. Before, it was constant. Engines running, metal clashing, men shouting over each other like they were racing against something. Now, there were gaps, long ones, silence where there shouldn't be any. I noticed it early one morning. I was already outside, same as always, when the wind carried nothing from their direction. No machines, no movement, just quiet. That kind of quiet doesn't happen by accident. I kept working anyway, fixed a section of fence that didn't really need fixing, checked the ground where the cattle used to gather. Habit doesn't disappear just because everything else does. Around midday, a single truck rolled past my land, slow, careful, not like before. The man inside didn't look at me. That told me enough. Later that afternoon, I walked a little farther than usual, not onto their land, just close enough to see. Half the machines were gone. The ones that remained weren't running, just sitting there, heavy and useless, like they didn't belong anymore. There were fewer men, too. The ones still there moved differently. No urgency, no confidence, just obligation. I stood there for a moment, then turned back. Nothing more to see. That evening, someone came to my door. Not a worker this time, one of the men from the SUVs. He looked different now, not weaker, just quieter, like something had been taken out of him. He didn't step inside, didn't try to. "We're pulling out," he said. I didn't react. He nodded, like he expected that. "This project, it's not worth it anymore." Not worth it. That's how they measure things. Money in, money out. Risk, reward. They never factor in what can't be controlled. He hesitated, then added, "What happened here with your farm, that wasn't supposed to happen." I looked at him then, for the first time. "And yet it did," I said. He didn't argue, didn't apologize either. People like him don't deal in apologies, only outcomes. "We're being gone by the end of the week," he said. Then he left. No threats, no offers, no pressure. Just gone. The next few days were quiet. Trucks came and went, hauling away what they could. Piece by piece, their presence disappeared. No one spoke much. No one looked in my direction. By the end of the week, nothing remained. No machines, no men, just the land, marked, disturbed, but still there. I walked out farther than I had since the fire, past the edge of what used to be mine, into the ground they thought they could take. The soil was torn up in places, tracks cut deep, but underneath, it hadn't changed. It never does. I crouched down, letting the dirt run through my fingers. Same texture, same weight, steady. They thought they were fighting me. They never understood. They were fighting something that doesn't move, that doesn't negotiate, that doesn't forget. I stood up and looked out across everything. What was lost, but not everything had been taken. Some things don't burn, some things don't break, and some things just wait. Tomorrow, I'll start rebuilding, not because I have to, because that's what this land was always meant for. And this time, I won't be the only one watching. A few months passed before things started to feel familiar again. Not the same. They'll never be the same, but familiar enough to keep moving forward. The land had begun to settle. The scars were still there if you knew where to look, but grass doesn't ask questions. It grows anyway. I rebuilt slowly. No rush, no noise. A smaller barn this time, stronger, positioned differently. Not where it used to be, but where it should have been all along. I brought in new cattle, one by one, took my time with each of them, watched them the same way I always have. You don't replace what was lost, you continue it. People still came by now and then, less than before. Life had moved on for them. But when they looked at the land, they saw it. Not what happened, what remained. One evening, just before sunset, I walked out to the far end of the property, the place where everything started. The ground was quiet, solid, like it had closed the chapter on its own. I stood there for a while, saying nothing. There was nothing left to say. No anger, no need for answers. What needed to happen, happened. Not because I forced it, because some things carry their own weight. and eventually, that weight settles. I turn back toward the house, the new barn just visible in the distance, a few cattle moving slowly across the field. Calm, unbothered, alive. That's when it hit me. This was never about losing everything. It was about seeing what couldn't be taken. They burned wood. They destroyed structures. They took lives that depended on me, and that will always stay with me. But they never touched the one thing that mattered most, the reason I stayed, the reason I didn't run, the reason I didn't fight the way they expected. Because this land and me, we're built the same way. We endure, not loudly, not for show, just long enough to still be here when everything else is gone. The wind moved through the grass, slow and steady, same as it always has, same as it always will. And this time, I didn't just watch, I moved forward.